It's your boy, Matt, Next Wave R&B. I'm with one of my day ones, Isaac Wallace. Isaac, I just want you, for the people that are discovering you for the first time, how would you explain yourself as an R&B artist?
Man, well, first and foremost, I just want to thank you for having me.
Of course.
Um, and I think that's a great question for people who are discovering me for the first time. The first thing is a storyteller. Um, I use my life experiences to express myself in my art, in my music, in my songs. I'm very intentional about what I say in my music. That's the R&B that I grew up on, and so I'm a storyteller. I'm a lover. I think love is the foundation of what you hear from me, whether it's winning in love, where it's positive relationships, whether it's heartbreaks, whether it's lessons that have to be learned. I think love is the actual foundation of what I do and what I create. And so I'm a storyteller from the east side of Atlanta, Decatur to be specific. And I just want to share those stories and those life experiences with people to connect with people.
I like that, man. I didn't know you were from Atlanta. I don't know, for
Yeah,
some
for
reason, I
sure.
thought you were from Vegas.
Nah, I'm not from Vegas. I shout out to the people and the support that I have here in Vegas. It's been great in this past season of me, putting out music drops and doing open mics, performing, getting my art out there. But I am from Decatur, Georgia,
Oh, wow.
Zone 6, East Atlanta, very southern,
Yeah,
very country. So
I
yeah.
love that.
That-
I love that, man. I've been in Atlanta a couple times when I was younger. I love it. Originally, I'm from Jersey. I'm from the East Coast.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
okay,
in Maryland now. I'm Baltimore. But
okay.
I love Atlanta. I need to go back. It's been a minute.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, when did you realize music was something you wanted to seriously pursue?
Um,
Was that a
Music
hard
always been.
question?
Nah, it's kind of it has layers to it. I think it started out as a kid. I was always surrounded by music. I grew up in a church. Both my parents are pastors, so I'm a church boy. Um, and so growing up in the church and being around music in that way, that was kind of the start for me. Um, just love singing. Used to sing the solos in the youth choir when my mom would put on a performance. She'd make me sing a solo. Um,
Yeah.
and then as I grew, as I got older, when I spent time at when I graduated from Tuskegee University, during my time there, I was in the Golden Voices concert choir as well as the men's glee club. I think that time really honed my love for music because it wasn't just R&B, it wasn't just secular, it wasn't just gospel, but we're singing spirituals, we're singing in other languages, and
Wow.
I'm training every day. Like choir was a class, it was only one credit, but we would be there Monday through Friday for 2 hours a day from 5 to 7 every day.
Wow.
So it was demanding, but to be in that environment and to be surrounded by music every day, it kind of shaped me and prepared me for where I am now. Once I started actually pursuing music, it was because of my wife. She knew I had a love for music. And when I want to say I turned 26, it was like 2015 or so. She booked me a studio session. I had never had an official studio session.
Oh, wow.
And we went in, we wrote the song, we recorded the song. And then after that whole process and it was done, I looked at her and I was just like, I'm coming back, right? And from there, it's just kind of like sharpening my skill. I feel like it was always in me. But from there, I learned how to write music. I learned how to vocally arrange myself. I taught
Mm,
myself how to record myself. I taught myself how to mix and master myself. And so for me, I think the only next phase is to start independently producing all of my tracks, which I haven't gotten there yet, but we'll get there. But yeah,
hey,
yeah,
that'll be the next thing.
that'll be the next thing.
Yeah, no, that's very that's dope, man. A lot of people don't realize like how much goes into the recording in the studio and everything like that. Because
So
growing
much.
up, I got two brothers. I always talk about the one brother that works at Sony, but my other brother is actually an R&B singer. And
Okay.
yeah, he built a studio in our house actually. and he would record YouTube videos and stuff like that. So I saw all that work that went into that. So that stuff is definitely
Yeah,
not easy. You know what I mean?
not at all. 10,000 hours, they say.
Phew,
And
yeah.
I think that's what kind of honed it in 2015. Once I got that bug, we were living in Atlanta at the time, and we had an extra room in the house, and I turned it into a home studio. So I put padding
Mm,
all on the
yeah.
wall,
Yeah, that's what my
got the
brother did.
recording equipment, and I would get off work. I would make sure the family stuff's straight. People go down for bed. Like 9 o'clock, I'm in there from like 9 to 3 in the morning
Phew,
every night, just recording, just sharpening my skills, writing, recording.
yeah.
And I think that time where I kind of put myself in that incubator to just figure it out and learn, that made me fall in love with even just the creation process. I love the creation process. It's everything for me.
Yeah, I mean, uh I'm telling you, when you're creating something and then you see how it comes out, sometimes it might not come out the way you want to, but
Sometimes I got
yeah,
songs
yeah.
that just sit. I'm like,
Yeah. But
that
the
one didn't hit.
yeah, but the process, yes, it's
Yeah, the
all about the
process.
process. Now,
Yeah.
let's talk about your voice, all right? So
Okay.
you sound a lot like Lloyd to me. I'm not sure, do you get that a lot or no?
I've heard that recently, and for me, like that's a ultimate compliment. I remember being a kid and my older cousin Ty. Shout out to my cousin Ty.
Ty.
Um, she was like, "Hey, I think you need to hear this group." It started with a group. Now, a lot of people, unless you're a real R&B head and you dig into the B sides, into the crates, people know from Atlanta that Lloyd was in an R&B group before he was solo.
Oh,
So
wow.
he was,
I don't think I even knew
yes,
that.
yeah. So he was in a group called In Tune, right?
In tune.
And they had this song, this single that was called Ready. I know you're not ready yet to go steady. I know you told me, like young kid group or whatever. That's when I first discovered Lloyd.
Wow.
And then when he dropped his debut project with Murder Inc., my cousin came back and was like, "Hey, remember the guy from the group? He dropped a solo project. You should listen to it." And when she gave me that project, I knew. I was
Mm,
just like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but I gotta do this. I gotta
wow.
do this. Lloyd is my greatest musical influence. I
Mm,
think in
interesting.
R&B. Just coming on that track and him saying Decatur is greater and that's where I'm from, to see like, dang, like you can do that. But
Wow.
you know, be a man, be loving, be
Yeah.
sensitive, be
Yep.
kind of street. I was just like, this it. And then from there it was up. So
I love it.
Lloyd's, to say that, that's a huge compliment because to me he's an ultimate storyteller. He can
Yeah,
live
I
within
love his
those records.
songs.
You can feel it.
Yeah, man, he
Yeah.
was especially in like the early like 2010s, even like the late like '09, '08, and then like
Yeah.
from then on, I just hit after hit after hit. I mean,
Massive.
he still goes on tour and he still,
Hit,
performs and
hit,
everything.
hit. Yep, that's our story.
Y-
And they love it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an
Oh man,
ultimate compliment.
Southside always has a special place in my heart. Yeah. Let's talk about this project coming up. What's the name of it and when do we expect it to drop?
All right, so the project that I have coming out is called She Taught Love. It will
She Talk Love.
drop on Even exclusively on June 16th. And then it will later make its way to all DSPs. I do believe in supporting artists direct. I don't care what level an artist is at. I think it's important for artists to be
Yeah.
able to um, receive instant revenue from the work that they put in to create, because being at this since 2015 as a truly independent artist, on my dime,
Yeah.
I understand the importance of seeing something back for the labor of love that I put in for this work. And I know it's worth it. But She Taught Love is the album of lessons I had to learn, accountability within myself, looking at myself in the mirror saying like, hey, you're not hitting the mark where you thought you were, that you
Mm,
need to address some things, but then also wanting to progress in love and realize there's certain obstacles and hurdles that you can't ignore, you can't avoid.
Yeah.
You have to work through them and around them, and then it also allows you to touch on the different stages of, you know, when you first meet somebody, and then those initial hurdles, and then once you get into it, whatever obstacles may come, and then, working out the kinks, understanding that relationships are work. I think as a more mature R&B artist, and when I say mature, I'm saying in my age, I think it's important that music reflects reality. And for
Mm.
me, I feel like a lot of R&B from a lot of older and more mature artists is somewhat lacking that than what we used to have.
Oh my, yeah, man, that's spot on.
So
Spot
I
on.
like artists like, I think why you have artists like Lloyd who can still go on tour, Joe,
Yeah.
Avant.
Avant.
You have,
Yes. I love Avant.
I love Avant.
Donell
I
Jones.
think, you know what I'm saying, John B. These artists are
Yeah.
able to still go on tour because their music, they were conversational pieces. They were talking to women through records.
Yeah.
They were talking to men through records. And I feel like at some point it became, I have this, I do this, I can do that, I can do this. And a lot of times that's hard to translate to people when we're not living the lifestyle of the artist that is making this
Mm.
music. So when I don't have the access of the mainstream, the biggest artists in the world, it's hard for me to always connect with that.
Yeah.
Whereas I consider myself an everyday man's artist, an everyday woman's artist. Like I go out, I go work, I come home, I take care of my kids. I'm not on
Facts.
the road every day. But these are the things that I'm dealing with on a day to day basis to where it's like I have to work through these things.
Yeah.
Um, so this project was definitely a labor of love. It was healing for me because I needed to address things in me as a man, um, my shortcomings, but also understanding what I needed in love for myself. And I think it started in a place of pain and struggle to where
Yeah.
I started to pen and write this project. And it came together beautifully, and I'm so proud of this work. So I'm definitely excited for people to hear it, and I think it's gonna heal. I think it's gonna heal people
Man,
for
I
sure.
love that. I love that. That was, I mean, it kind of ties into my next question. It's like, what does the title mean to you and what inspired this body of work? But I kind of think you hit that
Yeah,
pretty good.
man, it's just lessons, and I think everybody can learn lessons. I'm an educator by trade,
Oh,
and
word. Yeah.
so I think I think sometimes you have to take a step back and reevaluate your process, whether
Facts.
that's in a skill, job, or in relationships. They say in relationships, people change every 7 years. So
Wow.
if you've
Never
been
heard
with
that.
somebody longer than a decade, you've seen maybe two versions of that person.
Mm. That
So
makes
it's
sense.
important. It's important to understand that what worked in year one may not work in year 6 or 7. That person may have evolved, and I think I had a false sense of what love was because as a kid, I'm sitting at the corner desk while my mom's cooking in the kitchen, excuse me, and I'm playing pinball and listening to Boyz II Men
Yeah.
singing my heart out,
Yeah.
and I'm thinking like, this is love.
Right.
Until now, I'm like, hey, every love ain't lovey dovey, hold me, love on me all
Yep.
day. Like, no, there's some difficult times. There's some differences and arguments. There's some highs. There's some lows, and navigating all of that. And so I feel like She Taught Love is really her teaching me to look at myself and see where I needed to grow because
Mm.
she put the mirror up for me to now look and say, hey, you got to hold yourself accountable in this area, this area, this area.
I
So,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Man, that was deep, man.
yeah, for sure.
I love that. I love these deep conversations. I always grew up like kind of like a hopeless romantic. Thank God my wife actually filled that void for me.
Right.
I was like addicted to like romance and stuff like that. I think that's why I love R&B so much because it gives you that feeling, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Um
It,
and but like
it
you
gives you
said,
hope for love. So
exactly. And I can definitely see that from this project you have coming up. I mean, I'm hoping that the people who listen to it can generally see that. Now let's talk about the platform even. How does one sign up for that? How do you go about downloading that and everything?
So with Even, you can go on any app store, EVEN, um, even in all caps, red letters. And it's a platform, as there are others, but this is the one that I have selected to use. But Even is a platform where you can buy direct from artists, but artists also have the ability to create buying points
Oh,
for
okay.
their fans. So let's say at this price point, you can pay what you want. Maybe the minimum for the album will be $10, right? But if you decide that you want to pay for a higher tier, you can get other things. So you can get access to a chat with me to discuss the album. You may be
Oh,
able to
cool.
get exclusive photo shoots or an exclusive video that I haven't released to everyone yet. You might get exclusive alternate covers. There's so many different things that you can do within the Even platform, and I just think that's great for independent artists because the model has changed in the
Yeah.
industry. It's not what it used to be. It's not that you're super talented, somebody discovers you, they put you in front of this person, you audition. That's not what it is. You have to use your platform, come with your fan base,
Yep.
and see that something is clicking to really take it to that next step. But until then, I think this helps close the gap of creatives not being broke.
Mm,
There's been this long time of like, well, if you haven't made it yet, you're a starving artist and you don't have to starve.
yeah.
All right. You can find a way to connect with your audience and provide to them the things that they like and make it a real immersive experience. I think even just with this album and the rollout, I like to create a world for my supporters to live in.
Mm,
So everything is tied and connected, even EPs and singles that dropped before the album came out. Some of the singles are on the album, some of them are not, but it all connects. And I've created this world for people to understand that there are lessons in love that are happening here. And there's things that happen that may lead you to learning those lessons. And I just want my supporters and people who want to get to know more about what I have to bring to R&B to be able to fully immerse themselves in that world. So I think it's a great platform. It's been cool.
yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up, man. I never I haven't heard about that until you sent that over. So I'm definitely gonna look that up. And the point you were talking about, like artists just, starving and being broken and everything. I don't know if you ever heard of Federo. He's like a
Yeah,
producer. I think he's actually in Atlanta actually.
yeah, he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, he always talks about direct to consumer, which I like that, man, because it shows that like, some artists can make a living. You just might have
Yeah,
to go a different route because these streams, like, man, you got to get like a million streams to maybe even, I don't even know how much. It depends on how much Spotify pays, Apple Music pays, but it's like less than pennies. You know what I
it's
mean? So
less
I'm
than
just like,
pennies.
man,
And it's like you might have to get, and I could be exaggerating, so this is not to misspeak on any of the DSPs, but
yeah,
just for the sake of example and conversation, let's say you got 1,000 streams, that might pay you $1, you know?
wow,
Whereas if I have 10 people willing to buy my album on Even for $10, Even takes a small percentage,
yeah,
but let's say they didn't take anything just to have a roundabout number. If I sold 10 albums, I got $100 versus $1 off of 1,000 streams. I don't
that's
need
true.
1,000 streams, just like you don't need a million fans. And I think once I figured that out and I learned that, my approach to this changed. I don't make music to go viral. I don't make music to fit in the algorithm. I
Yeah,
make a specific brand and sound of music
mm,
for a specific group of people who are longing for those stories and that feeling. I don't necessarily want my music to be nostalgic, but I want it to have a nostalgic feeling. So over
mm,
time, when they go back to it, it's like I wanna be able to stand alone. I want them to be like, "Ah, man, you heard that new dude? He kinda got a little Isaac Wallace in him."
When you speak about nostalgia, oh my gosh, that I think that's what I love so much about a lot of these old R&B artists because
Yeah.
you can listen to like the hits that they've had and you can remember the specific place that you were at when you
Yep,
played that song. You just remember where you are, what you were doing that day, and like it
exactly.
just doesn't get old, man. So I like that you're chasing that approach.
Yeah, I saw a documentary where it was a Whitney Houston documentary, I think it was on Hulu, and her grandmother was telling her in this documentary or remake, biopic, whatever it was,
Yeah.
that we don't make popular music, we make legacy music. It's a difference.
Mm,
And from that point, that kinda stuck with me because I don't want music that's just for the now. I want to be able to reach anyone across any time span. And I think that's what made the music and the R&B that I fell in love with when I fell in love with the genre so special is because I always find myself going back to it.
yeah,
Always.
and it's funny you speak about going back. I feel like a lot of these like new R&B artists like they always find ways to go back, whether it can be like a lyric from an old video or like a beat. We It's funny how we always find ourselves going back to like the 90s,
Yeah.
the 2000s,
Yeah.
the 80s.
Sample
S
crazy right now and then.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it's a it's a salute to what has come before them,
Yeah.
but it's also a cry for when are we going to be able to create our own hits
Mm.
that don't sample? I think a great example of that is Kalani's Folded.
Yes.
It's not a sample in it, and that song's a smash. Um, I think some of what Quan is doing, a smash. Girlfriend, smash.
Yes.
Eric Bellinger, smash. Like, and I think a lot of it is because they are sure in their voice, but they're not relying on the nostalgia factor
Yes.
to garnish the listens and the love and support. Is genuinely who they are, and I think um, that's what I look for in R&B, and B, and that's what I look to create in my own music. You know, whether people get it or not, I think it's a labor of love, and it takes time. It takes time when you sound unique, when you present in a certain way. We're in a time where people are used to kind of consuming the same repetitive sounds
Yeah.
because it's fast. Like we got fast fashion, we got fast music, we got
Yep.
fast television, we have fast everything. Everything's instant. And to
Instant
produce at that
gratification.
rate, yeah, to produce at that rate, you're not really taking your time. This album took me over a year to create.
Wow.
A lot of these songs I've been sitting on, they've been written since I started writing this project, I didn't realize it until the other day. I started writing this project in 2019.
Wow.
The very first song that I wrote on this project is Complicated. Um,
Is that with
when I
Ye Ali?
Yeah, with Ye Ali,
Oh, yeah,
and
Ali, sorry. My
no, you're good.
Yeah, Ali, if I said that wrong, my bad, bro.
Yeah, man, shout out to him, bro,
Yeah,
like,
shout out to him, man. He follows
um
my page, so he's dope. He's actually
yeah.
one of the first ones that follow one of the first big artists that followed me.
Yeah,
So,
man. He a genuine dude, man. When I reached out to him, I had already had the record done, and
mm.
my wife was on the record. She had the second verse,
Oh, wow.
or the original version. And I had put out the original version at a time. At that time when I released it in 2019, going into 2020, I felt like Complicated was one of the best songs I had written up until that point. So I felt really strongly about it. I was like, this song is special.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit. And right before COVID hit, I had a listening party in Atlanta.
Uh,
I had built a relationship with a couple of DJs. I was like, I'm about to get something going. And then the world shut down.
yeah,
And
it's COVID.
so for a time, uh, and I'm not gonna lie, I went through a series of depression and I had to live life. And so
Yeah.
I took all my music down off DSPs, including that song. But I always
Wow.
kept it in the vault because I was like, this song's special. I was
Mm.
like, I gotta bring it back at some point. And so last year in 2025, I had committed myself to saying like 2024, excuse me, I had committed myself to saying, "Hey, we're gonna shoot all shots." So I reached out to him, told him what I was looking to do, and I sent him a few songs, and that was the one he connected with. And he was like,
Mm.
"This you on the backgrounds?" He was like, "That's like all the vocal stuff is you?" I said, "Yeah, that's all me." He was like, "This
Wow.
hard." He was like, he's like, "I like this one. Let's make something happen with this one." So maybe a week, he sent me back a snippet, and then he was like, "Give me one more day, and you gonna have it."
Hey.
And when I got it back, I was just like, "Oh man, this special." So it started in 2019,
Mm.
and I kind of wrote the album around that song,
Oh, wow,
because
okay.
to how do you get to where a complicated relationship? So complicated is a true story where at a point in time before me and my wife got to where we are now, it was all right, it's up and down, it's not easy.
Yeah.
If we take this next step, is it gonna ruin what we got going on? Like
Mm.
complicated. And then I said to myself, I'm like, what other lessons did I have to learn in this? So I
Mm.
said, let's start from the beginning. Then I gave you
Sure.
Southside. Southside is a true story. Everything I say in that song, I remember sneaking into your mom and daddy house at work. I did when we dated in high school. You get what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So like, I'm telling a true story, a timeline of events that had
that's
to happen to get to the end of the album. So um definitely full circle
yeah.
moment, but I think that's what made the genre of R&B the heavyweight that it still is. Because when you strip down the fluff and you get down to the vulnerability, the stories, the
Yeah.
connecting to people, the real conversations, um, it's healing. It changes lives. So yeah.
No, I love that, man, because you have, like, real life examples, and, I hope the people who, get the album can feel that.
There is a place where